Well, hi, good morning. Welcome to my shop. Today, hopefully, is the last day for this radio. It's going to go back in the cabinet and be completed. So I was in here last night looking over the cabinet, trying to decide what to do with it. I think there's kind of two stages here. Stage 2 involves sanding the top off and refinishing the whole thing. Stage 2 is not happening. Stage 1 is doing some more minor stuff. There's trim paint that should be in all these areas here. You can see I've already scraped off what paint was there all along the top here. So it's all ready for painting. Got my paint, got my brush. So that's my plan today, is to do the trim paint. You know, when I look at this, and I see the coating coming off here. Can you see that in the camera? Oh yeah, it's quite visible in the camera. Coming off all over the place. See, it's coming off in here, all through here. If I scratch this with my fingernail, it'll leave a white line where I've disrupted the coating. It's really very, very fragile. I took the coating off of here. There's a different coating in the crack here, but I took it off with a chisel. It's so flaky. It just flakes off. I think the whole surface would do that too, but I'm not going to find out because it's too big a job to take on in the winter here when I'm stuck indoors. So now these pieces obviously originally were just stained like the rest of the wood, but in looking at it right now, it looks to me like it makes more sense to, I haven't done this yet, to scrape this off. I was thinking about this yesterday. Scrape this off, paint all this. The problem is this piece of trim would come into the picture here if I were to paint this, and right there it says General Electric. A little hard to see in the camera, but if I were to paint it, I'm going to paint right over the name. Likewise, if I do any refinishing down here, goodbye to all these words, which is kind of a drag. You know, I see old radios that have been refinished, all that stuff is gone. It's a bit of a drag. And you know, really, do you want this thing to look like it's right new out of a showroom? I mean, I can't do that. So, you know, getting close to looking perfect is not the same as looking perfect. So I make any attempt to make this look perfect and I fall short. That's what it will communicate to everybody. Say, look, that guy tried to make it look perfect and it doesn't. So I'm not going to try that. Instead, I'm just going to try to make it look better. It will retain its oldness, certainly at this point. That's my approach on this guy. So, you know, the cabinet, in terms of its condition and that, is very, very good. It's really quite solid. There's really, I think I found one area here where this front wood, I can't think of the name, the sheet, thin sheet of wood here is separated right in here. So that's a bit of a problem, you know. You pick this radio up like this, you run the chance of pulling off a chunk of that wood, but it's actually pretty thick here. So veneer, that's the word I was looking for. Okay, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to paint all these parts here, kind of a darkish brownish color, and we'll see what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so I've thrown a coat of dark paint into all the areas I wanted to do, and you know what I'm kind of concerned when I go to do this kind of partial restoration is the more you make certain parts look better, other parts start looking worse. So in fact, you may have experienced this in your life where you have a situation that requires attention and you improve it tremendously, not 100% though, but tremendously improved, and then you show it to somebody who never saw it the way it was, and your 90% looks like a 10%. It looks like a 90% failure, in fact. So this is kind of what can happen here. As you make certain things look a little better, other things start looking worse. Yeah, it does kind of look. So it's just a little bit of paint here. It's not so much it looks worse. It doesn't look much better. That's the truth of it. Some of the other radios I've done, the trim areas like this are where all the damage has occurred. The trim areas being the things that are protruding and get knocked and banged a lot, like this piece in here maybe. This radio is different. The trim is actually kind of tucked into grooves in that. It's not standing out where it gets whacked. But what's happened is whatever they did this with originally, paint or whatever, it just hasn't stood up and it's all come off. That's very common too. So okay, well, next step, hey look, it's the same kind of darkish paint all back here. Next step, I think, is to put this radio back inside the cabinet and give it another run through. See how it's working. I think that's, I don't want to do any more with the cabinet because I think it's all downhill for me from here. Maybe in the summer I'll go at it. Okay, so I'm getting the chassis ready to go back in for its hopefully the last time in. One of the things I want to do before I stick it in is tighten up these loose cans here. If I'm lucky, I can get a tool right on the nut here. Okay. Now this one's behind a wire, so I really can't get at that one. This one's behind. Oh, I've left this capacitor in here. Son of a gun. Okay, I may have another capacitor to change. I think I'm getting a bite on here. I want these cans to be tight. There, that's better. Okay, it's tight on one side anyway. Maybe I can get this. No. Not gonna happen with that tool. Better. See if I can get this top one here. Oh, I did it. Good. Okay, so those are tight now. No shakiness in there. Excellent. There's nothing else like that, I don't think. So just continue sticking the radio in there. Nothing sticking out. Power cord looks good. What should I do about this old capacitor? You know what? Now's the time to change it. Now or never. I feel terrible leaving it in there. Maybe that's a cause of all kinds of problems. What's that capacitor do anyway? I gotta figure all that out. Okay, so taking a look at what this big capacitor does, I really overlooked something here. It's on the screen grid line for the tubes that have screen grids. There it is sitting right there. 10 microfarad capacitor is a big whopper, and right with it is a 0.1. The reason for that, I did change the 0.1, is because the electrolytic capacitor is not so effective at higher frequencies, so you tend to want to stick another capacitor to kind of handle the high frequency stuff. So 10, that's very large on the screen. If this is weak at all, then I'm going to get oscillation feedback through the screens, which is happening on one of the bands. So I'll bet you this guy is causing trouble. This kind of trouble. It's not so fun. Okay, let's see. So just going down to a ground terminal at the bottom here, right onto the chassis. Top one's just going onto a pin here. I'll leave a piece of wire, of course. Having a really hard time seeing. The lighting is just terrible in here right now. You know what it is? It's this light shining in my eyes. This is what it is here. A little bit like a camera. Get a little side light in your eyes there. Okay, that's the wire. Let's check them out here. It's a 10. Let's check them out right away. Let's check him out. Okay, find the leads. Here they are. a lead or some leads. So this is an electrolytic capacitor. That means the polarity is important here when I do this test. So we're going to put the negative to the negative. This capacitor, well, there's a bit of a gap there, but I may have caused that. Looks to be in fairly good shape, actually. Doesn't mean much. Okay, we'll flip this on to electrolytic test. Oh my gosh, it is on electrolytic. What was I doing? The last things I was doing. Uh-oh, that's bad. Okay, never mind the muttering. So we're watching the eye. I'll put this over here. Here we go. So that tests pretty good for leakage. Let's try 150 volts. So it takes time to charge up, but there's really no leak in there. That's pretty good. This rated 450. Let's go a little higher. We'll go to 250. No, you know what? This capacitor is good. It's not leaking. You can tell because that's opening. Now we're going to let it discharge for a few tens of seconds there, and I'm going to try to measure its capacitance. So let's get ready for that. Now, to measure 10, I put this on 0.1 to 50. 0.1 is this point, so there's 1, 5, so 50 way up here. 10 though, 10, so 50 is the scale. 10 is what we expect it to be, right around here. So we'll put this on 0.1 to 50, and we expect the eye to open around 10. Nothing. Let's go. So now we're on 20 to 1,000. So we'd expect this to not open because it's above the capacitance of the. So let's go smaller. Okay, so now we're down to 0.001 to 0.5. Oh, it's opening up. Well, it's opening up right at the very. It's off scale, in fact. So what is this telling me? I don't know. I don't know what that is. So let's try this guy here. He'll go up to 1,000 microfarads. So this is going to get us there. Do this right, positive there, negative there. Set this to 20. What is it? So expect this to say 10. It basically says 1. Let's change now. So it says 1 on this scale. Let's go to another scale here. Now it says 0.1. Let's get 1 here again. Even here it's going to get down to around 1 on the 1,000 scale. 1. Where was 1? So 1 would have been 0.5. Well, 1's not on this scale. Hey, that's not 0.1, is it? Where's 1? 1 doesn't even appear in here if I'm reading this wrong. This is 1 to 50. Huh, not 0.1 to 50. 1 is tricky to read on this machine. Huh, how do you like that? 1 microfarad appears right at the limit of this range and doesn't appear on this range. So actually reading 1 microfarad is difficult on that unit. We're not supposed to read 1, it's supposed to read 10. Well, I can only be convinced that this is a 1 microfarad capacitor, not a 10. Well, that's good in a way. Kind of bad that I've left it till now, but it's good in a way because it might explain the oscillation still existing in the 19 meter band, and some other funny things which are very subtle, very hard to pick up on. When a radio oscillates through the IF, it can generate an AVC voltage, but no sound from the speaker at all. Then the AVC voltage quiets the radio down. So as you come into an oscillating area, all that happens is the radio quiets down suddenly, rather suddenly. And then there's kind of a hysteresis sort of thing where as you're tuning the radio, maybe it changes here. I got my fingers lined up, too many fingers showing. Changes here, but when you want to undo the change, you don't just come back to here, you have to go back to here somewhere. So it's out, in, out, in. You kind of get what I'm getting at there? I don't know. Sometimes my finger puppetry is not very good, so. But it's very subtle, that's the bottom line. So another thing I want to get right this time around when I put it in is, believe it or not, the precise location of these light bulbs. So these light bulbs are not a small deal to get the proper effect from them. A little bit too bright there. The effect you want, of course, is light shooting through the glass, actually traveling through the glass plate and encountering these painted numbers and whatnot. If it's done right, this thing will just leap out. If it's not done right, then you get two faint glows at either side of the dial. You get two kind of glows like this. The trick in doing this, hear me now and always do this from now on, you must align the bulb filament with the edge of the glass. It's not enough to just shove this bulb in. You need to slide this back and forth a little bit until the filament lines right up with the glass plate. At that point you are beaming lots of light right into, you're lasering light into the glass plate. If you don't do that, unsatisfactory results. You do it right, fantastic looking front of the radio. So yeah, little tiny thing, position of the light. Probably most people don't think about it at all, but it makes all the difference in the world. Okay, what else? Maybe dusting the back of this off. That might be a good move. Fortunately, the damaged paint up in here is out of view from the front of the radio. I don't want to make it any worse here. So I'm curious now, I've done quite a few of these radios, the same style, done by different manufacturers with different model numbers, but it's the same basic radio. And do they all have this, what I now believe to be an inherent problem with this radio, weakness in the band spread bands, particularly the 19 meter band. I wonder. Okay, is everything ready to go back in now? Did I clean these volume controls? I don't think so. Let's give it a little shot here. My last chance. I don't think I lubricated the capacitor either. That's another important thing to do. Let me just get in here. I don't think I did that either. So lubricate the look out. So what's important about lubricating the tuning system down here is if there's any back pressure, back tension in the system here, in the string or anywhere else, then when you turn it, before anything moves, you load the string with tension. And that tension persists as you tune the radio. Then as you let go of the tuning knot, that tension can cause the wheel to back up ever so slightly, but ever so slightly is what this is all about, of course. So you don't want any back tension anywhere in the system. So we're going to start down here. Put just a, you know what, I'm going to use an oiler for that. Yeah. I do not want oil going where I don't want it to go. So spraying it's a little risky here. In some radios, this right here, doing this makes a huge difference in how it feels. The last radio I was doing was like that. I just put a little oil down here and the tuning thing just changed entirely. So it feels this one feels really great actually. Okay, but we're gonna do the ball bearings now in the So how you can position these lights, you can't, I don't think you can look in there and see that it's lined up. I think you have to reach in and move them back and forth and watch the screen on the front to get it right. I think, and that's awkward. That's not the easiest thing to do. Okay, for some reason I'm putting this over here. No, just leave it on top there. Okay, so I want to put a little lubrication in here now. So WD-40. The controversial WD-40. So I'm going in for those ball bearings there first. There, just a little wee bit. And now I'm going to also go with this back bearing. This is a special bearing tension adjustment screw here, by the way. Occasionally, you got to deal with that. Occasionally, not very often. And then a little bit in here too. Let's see, these are spring ground contact points. Oops. This is the stupidest can, man. When you push the button, you move the hose, isn't that the pipe? That's a stupid situation there. Oh, baby. That'll do it. Oh, yeah, that's got her. That's got her good. Okay, so the wires are getting in the way. Another thing that can happen with these radios is this front panel can get distorted or bent a little bit, and then there's a rubbing between this wheel and this thing here, and that will cause all kinds of weird electrical noise and other strangenesses. I don't know why I'm doing this. It just seems like the thing to do. Okay. I think I'm ready now to put this guy back in. Already inside the cabinet waiting is the cord for the push buttons. I'll also be able to hook up the capacitive antenna here, this extra little bit of antenna that's up here called a capacitive antenna, which has not been connected yet. And that's part of the final alignment process, is to have everything just as it's going to be. Okay. Now this wire here has gotten into a bad spot. There we go. Okay. I gotta plug that guy in. Okay, so I'm going to carry on. I don't need to have the camera running here. I'm going to get everything plugged in the way it needs to be. Hopefully I didn't tangle up the wires too much. Oh, I took the speaker off. I got to put that in. Okay, no problem. Anyway, got to get these guys hooked up again. Ooh, lots of stuff. Okay, I made a little bit of a mistake here. In putting the speaker back in. I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not, but the mounting screws are sticking out. They look like spears. They're pointed. 4 spears. They speared, because I was a little bit reckless, they speared the speaker here, put a hole right through there. I put a hole right through there without even realizing what stupid thing I was doing. So I gotta fix these holes now. Doggone it. Okay, I'm going to mix up some of my special elixir here. This basically amounts to wood glue and water. Don't need much. It's roughly a 50-50 mixture of glue and water in there. Roughly. Now I need a little bit of paper towel. I happen to have some. There's different materials you can use this. You know, people get into this quite a bit about what kind of material to put on the speaker. I just use basically paper towel. Okay, so we want to wet the speaker a little bit here. Stick that over it. Go. Now the other spot here. I feel pretty bad about having poked holes in the speaker. But, you know, as I always say, there is always a cost to education. You're going to pay the cost one way or another. Not to say that's a bad thing, it's just a thing you got to understand is true. There we go. Okay, no need to wait for that to dry or anything. I just stick the speaker in with a little more care. Now, so I was going to put the speaker this way, but the rounded edge here interferes. It's actually shaved off here to fit. Somewhere in that process I poked holes in it. So let's get one lined up here. Okay, another one. Once I get 2 lined up, I really can't go wrong, he says. Okay. Don't fall. Get a couple of nuts on here and then I won't have to worry about it falling out. These nuts have a flat side and a round side. So the rounded edge is to help a tool seep easily onto the nut. It's to help the tool fall onto the nut. See, you know, one side's flat and the other side has little curves. for a socket to easily engage with the nut. Of course, when I'm using a socket wrench, if you think about it, there's a nut on both ends of that wrench. Okay, there's a metal sleeve here. This is to make sure that you can't compress the rubber grommets too much. The grommets, when they're new, should be under compression. The result is the hear that clicking? Let's see if we can get rid of that. There we are. Check it out. These two things are right in now this has gotten tangled up back here. There we are. Where's this wire supposed to go in the cabinet here? So it's supposed to go maybe up and over top of these buttons. And then down in here just like this. I like that very much. Now I got these three wires to figure out again. Not these three. Where's number 3? Here's number 3. So number 3 was a ground wire, and wasn't it back is back, front is front? Oh, okay, I remember. Blue. And then I don't remember entirely, but I remember where to look. Here we are. One of these pages will show me, oh my gosh, this doesn't show the buttons at all. Okay, so I'm going to finish wiring this up off camera and get everything put back in. You don't really need to watch all this stuff go back in. And once it's hooked up or put back together, we'll turn it on and see what happens. Man alive. Wow, okay, I'm lucky. For the first time I've noticed on this diagram, it shows these three wires right here, color and position, front, center, rear. Excellent. One of them is blue. Blue is the front. Does that say blue? Blue. Blue is the front. I know which one's blue, I know which one's black, and the other one is the other one. Lucky me. Let me just go ahead and do this. So, what did I say? Blue is front. Blue is front. So we go up here and we pick the front of the blue. Wow, just barely gets there. Really? How can that be? This wire won't reach the well, that's okay. Let's start with the grounded one. The black one, no question where that goes. Center. Black goes to center. So go here, I'll put that in. Oh, you know, I know why this. Oh no, I don't. I was going to say that the radio's not all the way in, but it is all the way into the cabinet. Even this is pulled really tight. Okay, what is happening here? Something funny happening? Something funny is happening. Not funny haha, but funny strange-o. Let's bring this around here. Let's see. These appear to be out. They're not out very far. These are not out very far. The pointer is set back. The radio's not all the way in yet. Who's blocking it here? know what? I think it is in all the way. Oh, okay, that's a little bit different. Not by much though. Okay, so blue wire to the front. Wow, it's just as tight as can be here. It's going right over the top of the... Can't put it there. This still just doesn't... Can't be right. Cannot be right. He says, with commanding tone, in order to put the radio on notice that I am taking control here. Green. So this other wire here, this should be green. I see no green in it. Green is the rear, so that goes on easily. I got my front and rear mixed up. This one's supposed to go in the middle. Well, it's there. Wow, it's tight. And then this one's supposed to go in the front. What is going wrong here? Oh, Peanut, really? I mean, this is a bad time for you, okay? It's a bad time for you to be meowing at me. What is it? Is there a problem upstairs? Is it a food bowl issue? What do you say? Hey, I'm up here. Up here. Peanut. Is it a food bowl issue? What is it? Is it a scratch? Do you want to get scratched? Oh my God, he's never clear. He's never clear with me. Buddy. Okay, you know what? I have to go. Because, yeah, I have to go make my cat happy for a minute here. And we'll get back to the radio in a second. Say goodbye. Okay, I think my cat's happy after a little bit of attention. Now, what about this wire, which... Am I supposed to assume the guy who originally put this radio together just said, well, we should have made this wire just a little longer. But we didn't. So there it is. I can't believe it. It's just as tight as... You could almost play a song on that. I don't know. Okay, so maybe we'll find out something funny like these wires have to be reversed or something. I don't know. It certainly matches the schematic at this point. So be that. Okay. Now, I think I have everything connected here. Even this wire is again just as taut as can be. So maybe we'll find out that in fact for some reason the wires actually go the other way. But as I said before, I've got them in the way it's shown. No doubt about it. Yeah, and then I have the, forget about this, the capacitance antenna, which I'm pretty sure just attaches to this terminal here on the back of this. Pretty sure of that. How sure is pretty sure. So there's the connection to the capacitive antenna lead. Yeah, it's got to be that spot. Okay, enough delays here. Let's plug it in and see what we got. Oh, antenna. Small delay more. Well, we're going to start with the AM radio anyway, which relies on this antenna. Let's get it going. Let's get this puppy going here. I have not put the bottom bolts in yet. See, I'm not that reassured. And we got to do the lights. Yeah, we can do the lights next. Align the light bulbs. So I've got to... switch on. Let's switch this guy on. There we are. Turn down the lights in here. Make it dark. Peanut, I gotta kick you out, buddy. Peanut was quietly watching me there. I guess my petting session wasn't quite enough for him. You'd not even know there's any light bulbs in here at this point, would you? Okay, see the lonely magic eye in there, but this should all be lit up so you can read all the numbers on here. This light doesn't even look like it's on. Hello? That's my cat outside. Yes, he's actually saying hello. He says that. Now I'm going to reach my hand in there. Yeah, this light's not on. I reach my hand in there, right over top of this scaldingly hot light. What's going on in there? It doesn't look... Oh, that's not right at all. What's happened in there? What are you talking about? Over this way. So there's some pieces of paper, that sheets of two vertical sheets of paper. The light is supposed to get in between them, and then that's supposed to prevent the light from going anywhere but onto the edge. But what's happened is one of those sheets is folded over and the light has gone in here. The light is not even shining at all on the glass. So now how am I going to get in there? Good thing, see, I didn't put the bolts in. Power off, power off, power off. Cool down, cool down. Let's cool this puppy down here. Pull this thing out. Can't really pull it out with this wire hooked up. Oh, for crying out loud, what a situation. Just back. Come on, buddy. You can go back. Let's hold it. Oh, I got all the knobs on the front. Okay, wait a minute. We don't have to move. I'm getting too excited here, aren't I? See, I'm very close to the finish line. I'm starting to break into a sprint. Let's pull the light out of there. Let's see if we can. So this isn't new. This problem here has been there for a long time. Am I really sure of this? Am I sure of what I'm doing? So you can see on this other side, you can see, it's hard to see, but there's the two pieces of paper, and then the light goes in between, right in there. Over here, I can only see one piece, but it's probably... Okay, so I'm looking carefully at how the bracketing is done here, and where the paper is in relation to the bracket. So, yeah, definitely that piece of paper needs to be brought forward here. I don't know if you're really even following what's happening in this crazy radio. It's a lot easier to do this. So, you know, the paper's kind of jammed itself in there. It's really hard to dig it out. Is it jammed in or is it taped in? Or, oh my God. Don't make me take this cabinet out. Don't make me take the radio out of the cabinet. Don't make me burn my hand on that dude. They're all for crying out loud. Okay, let me see if I can slide a tool in behind the paper and release it from where it's jammed. Oh yeah, that's going to be easy to do. Okay, let's pull out the hot tube here, which isn't all that hot. Just in the way. Get that out of the way. Okay, got it out. There's no other paper behind it. Pretty sure the light goes down the other way. You know what? Maybe they didn't need the other piece of paper because it's nothing but cabinet here, whereas on this side the light has opportunities to get over here. On this side the light has more opportunity to leak out in various ways. Maybe that's their thinking here. So if I pull that like that, and where's the light? Where'd the light go? There it is. It's probably why when I first turned it on, even with one light bulb on, I exclaimed, hey, there's no light. Because it was all entirely blocked. Jeez, I'm trying to do this by feel. What's the problem? What's the problem? There we go. Okay, so, and the other light, where's the other light? Shouldn't go down under. Should go over. No. Exciting watching a guy shove lights in a radio, eh? The light has a very specific place it wants to go in there. Okay, go on. Oh man, it's really fighting. This won't go on at all. The wrong kind of bulbs are in here. That's possible, you know. That is possible, because I think the bulb is interfering with, the bulb is too long. What kind of bulbs go in this radio? Now typically these radios, you know, they usually run with 47s, but you know what, it's just a matter of getting the angles right here. There's a little place for the bulb to go, and I think it's not going there. Well, it's kind of on. It's barely in there, but see, the glass bulb is striking the front of the cabinet. As I pull this back to try to line up the filament, it made it come right off. It's a lot of effort. For what? Okay, for this. Oh yeah, and the other bulb's not working. The one I just finished all that time sticking in there. Let's double check and see if it isn't working here. Just 1 second. Yeah, it's on. Okay, so I have the radio on low voltage right now. I also have the output tube sitting here. Okay, I also don't have the audio cable plugged in yet. Yeah, a lot of don't haves yet. Let's turn that off. Okay, with the big tube out of there, I can get this plugged in fairly easily here. Somewhere. Just get a look at it. There it is. I did see it there for a moment. There we go. Okay, so plugged in the audio. Wires have come out again. Radio's in as far as it's going to go. I want to do the lights. Again, we'll leave these hanging. We'll just do the lights. Do the lights. Okay, once again, radio power on. There's the light. Shining a little more on here, but still not good enough. Lights off. Lights off. Well, getting a little more again coming in. Let's see if I can move those light bulbs now. Sticking my hand back in here. Still no output tube. Okay, first the one on the right. Sticking my hand into the back of an operating radio to grab this light. Okay, I got the light. No, I don't. What have I got? I don't know what I just had my hands on. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so I'm moving the light bulb. So it's in all the way, back out a bit. Oops, a bit too far. I get too far and it loses contact. So you know what's going on here? These are the wrong light bulbs. Because by the time I get this where it needs to be, it's falling off the bracket. Nope, back a little bit. Forward, back, barely on the bracket. Okay, that's got that one. That's about as good as we can do. That one looks pretty good already. Okay, let me stick my hand over there. And push it forward. There's a lot of light casting out over the surface here. I don't think that's quite how they want it. They want it more like that. These are the wrong bulbs. I think these are the wrong bulbs. Okay, power off. My camera's having a hard time with that, isn't it? Focusing on such little light. More light. Now, is there somewhere in all this information where the light bulb number is given? So I'm going to study up on that. And I mean, I've got some alternate lights I can put in there for sure. A shorter glass bulb. But let me see what I can find out here on the manual first. Okay, so I found a reference in the parts list in the radio manual for the light bulb, and it's a 51. These are 51s. What is different about a 51? Aha! Aha! You see? Short little bulbs. As opposed to what's in there. The 47s, which I'm sure somebody put in because that's what they have. Because almost all these radios run with number 47 bulbs. Okay, let's stick it in there. It's just, power is definitely off. So that's why I was having trouble. See, I just fell right out. I'll show you the difference in these bulbs. Look at the difference. There's like almost half an inch difference here. That's a big deal. That's a big, big deal. I bet you this is going to look quite different when I put it back together here. Now, are these actually 47s? It says 47 right on it. 51. Okay, let's put that one in. Oh, what was that? What was that sound? I don't know, but then immediately the light slid in. So it was a good sound. This one here. Yeah, so now they slide in properly. You should be able to align the filaments properly too. With the edge of the glass. Very good. I don't think I have a lot of 51s here. 4 more. Maybe I got another box. So these 47s go into my ever-growing collection of used 47 bulbs. Right here. I have a few. Okay, so we're going to try again aligning the bulb with the front panel. I mean, this is what this radio is all about. It's all about this big, beautiful front panel. So let's get it. Let's get it front paneling here. Get Mr. Radio on with the power. Oh, off with the lights. Oh, it's looking much better already. It's looking much better. So we really want to try to get rid of the glow here on the edges. If we can. It's going to be tough. I'm up for it though. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to stick my hand in the back there. Back here. Okay, so we're moving the light on the right first. Let's see. Slide it back, push it forward. It's very loose on the bracket now. Sliding it back. Not a lot of difference. The light's flickering because it's as soon as you pull it off the bracket, it loses its ground connection. I think that's just it. I don't think I can do any better there at all. I think this is the case of they've made this radio so you shove the lights in all the way and it's good. Where's that other light? Here it is. Okay, so I'm doing this side over here on the left. Drawing anyway. Let's seem to get a little better there. Oh, not so good there. I don't get a shock doing this. Incidentally, so I'm handling 6 volts right now, 6 volts AC, and no doubt I've had it across my fingers a couple of times. Can't feel a thing. No, we can't feel 6 volts. You can grab the terminals of a car battery at 12 volts. You can't feel it at all. But you know what? Cows can feel 2 volts between their hooves. So I'm just moving this back and forth. It's easy for me to appreciate what I'm doing because I know what I'm doing. You don't. So just about anywhere. See, all the way forward to dull down. Pull it back. Come on back. Pull it back. A little too far. There's the sweet spot there, I think. Yeah, so cows can feel 2 volts. That's enough that if their drinking tray, their drinking trough tray, the cow's water trough is metal and it's sitting on the ground, or maybe has a pump hooked up to it, or in some way is hooked up to the power neutral, that can put just a couple of volts on the water that the cows drink from relative to the earth they're standing on. Those couple volts, of course they're sticking their tongues in the water, aren't they, is enough to stop them from drinking. This problem, when it was discovered, it was a long time ago now, like back in the 20s or 30s, it was discovered that a lot of farmers were doing things and basically trickle shocking their cows, and their milk production can be down by 30% because of that. It's called stray voltage. If you want to read up on it, right, type in farm stray voltage into the internet. You can read all about it. Well, I like this. I think this is fine. This is really good. Hey, let's give it full power. Hey, let's play this radio. In fact, wow, it looks great on the camera, doesn't it? And exactly what time is it? It's 11:43, just before lunch. Turn it up. Oh, I don't have the output tube in it. Duh. Okay. Yeah, turn it up. No. Okay, turn it down, in fact. So I'm going to do this in the dark because I'm going to get hurt. Power off. Give me this little light here. Tube in. Yeah, these things don't work well when the tube is missing. I found that out quite a few times now. Power back on. Full power on. Yeah, look at that. That's fantastic. It's really easy on the eye to look at this dial now. Fantastic. Let's see what we get for radio operation. So we want to see more of the radio here. Push buttons. Push buttons. Phono. Silence. CJKL. I did tune these up for something, didn't I? Did I not put those wires back on? I did not put the wires back on. Oh, time to experiment then. So we know the ground one. This is the ground wire. The ground wire goes in the middle here. The clips those little plugs go in are really bent out of shape now. Okay, we'll put that's the third one. Tight as a drum. The light fell right out. So excited about the light, and it fell right out. How did that? Because it's lost its grip. There. Grip has returned. Oh, it's a hot light. It's a hot tube there. Hot, hot, hot. Getting hot anyway. Hot enough to scare me. Okay, light back in. Doesn't go any further than that. I'm sure we're okay in the front. We will know later. Okay, we're all hooked up. Come back around to the front. To the front. To the front. Phono. Push buttons. Not too happy, is it? Okay, let's go to off the push buttons on the A band now. We're using the loop antenna. Volume still won't go to 0, but let's see what we can get here. You can see the eye going nice. Come on, baby. $680. Since 40. Push buttons. Nobody know how, no way. What are the chances those wires are actually backwards? The one that's so tight. I really can't believe it. And that's never stopped me before. Let's try this. Oh, they're all out. Okay, let's do this wrong. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. That sounds pretty good. The wires fit this way very comfortably. Very, very comfortably. Huh. How does that happen? Dead silent. There's going from push button tuning to, listen, hard to hear a difference, eh? Cool, very cool. Next band. So this is a B band, shortwave band. Need to put on a shortwave antenna. Take a wire that's going nowhere, connect it to the antenna in the ground. Radio gets quieter. Why? This is a capacitor. I was checking these cords out the other day. These have very high capacitive reactance. I'm very disappointed. Okay, on to the antenna. Back around we go. If we pick something up here, I'd be stunned. 3 megahertz, 4 megahertz, 5 megahertz. I might get something here. So that sounds like teletype. There's a daytime shortwave station broadcasting out of Toronto at 6070, I think. Right in here. It's a no-show. We might get something up here in the 40-meter band, 7.3 and above. Let's see. I heard a ham guy right there. And I'm going to run and make sure my antenna is switched on in here, just in case it isn't. So, I'll be right back. Just keep paying attention. Okay, antenna's switched on, so, but you know, no surprise. Next band. So now we are leaving the non-spread bands and moving into the first of the 3 spread bands. Sensitivity seemed to go up. Definitely something funny with the volume there. So now we're on 31-meter band. We're just below 10 megahertz, going down. We could easily pick stuff up here. But then again, hear it? Very weak at 9, but you know, it's conditions. Next band is a 25-meter band, 11. This is a good band for daytime, afternoon, teletype, and a broadcast signal there. It's band spread, so you know, stations are that wide now. .760. That's Cuba. Always there. China not necessarily broadcasting from the Chinese mainland, but broadcasting maybe over here, maybe out of Cuba. They rent time on lots of people's transmitters. I think it's French. No. Spanish. One thing that is hard to see is the pointer. Since the light is directed at the panel, there isn't a lot of light striking the pointer, which is right here. Barely see it on camera. Okay, so that's that band. Next band is the infamous 19-meter band. Okay, quiet a bit, but I'll compensate. A little more volume. Come on, pick up something. Typically there's a signal at 15,140. Oh, it's still doing that. Oh my god, you know what I did? Oh my god, I just realized. I did one of the stupidest things I've ever done. Mind you, there's a long list of stupid things. Here's that capacitor I took out. I never put in its replacement. So this radio was running with virtually no capacitance. Just that 0.1 that I put in there some time ago. Oh my gosh. Well, that's really... Well, you know, that's why I didn't put these bolts in. Looks like I got a project after lunch now. Hey, let's keep going here. Let's keep going. I did keep going. Oh! I'm not sure what goes on here. Okay, let's go find something. Not that. Oscillation. Weird volume control stuff. The fact is, a 15 megahertz band, you can pick stuff up at 15.7, which is not on here. What's happening with this radio? You know what? I don't think. Well, now I'm thinking. A lot of weird stuff going on. You know, I gotta put that capacitor in before I make any judgments about what is going on here. Because there could be oscillations kicking in. Like that, only oscillations that have no modulation. Okay, let's go for the last band. I just clicked it and the hits showed up. 17 to 22. Might get something right. Sure doesn't seem like it. Just a lot of hiss. Well, we'll have to try this again in the evening, for sure. In the meantime, I have to take it all apart. How many of you were you telling me, hey, Jim, the capacitor. Jim, the capacitor. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna stick it in there for.